and welcome to the Frivolous and Frugal Fast One number 2. I'm going to call this one My Dear Stephen. So many of you already know who I'm going to talk about today. But as far as introductions, I am Frivolous Dawn. I am part of the Frivolous and Frugal Knitting podcast that usually has one of my sisters or a niece joining me, but our schedules are so busy right now. We're going to try these little fast episodes every once in a while to kind of fill in until the time we can get 2 or more of us together. The other people part of our podcast that you may have met in the past is my oldest sister, not frivolous, I wish, Frugal Miss Penny, Faithful Nikki, and our niece, Fearless Brianna. So the purpose of these fast ones is just to share with you a theme, if you will. So today's theme is based off of some of the things I have knit from Stephen West, who I lovingly refer to as my dear Stephen. For those of you who are going to participate in the upcoming West Knits MCAL, everything is just ramping up for that to begin in the early part of October. But I'm not going to share with you today the West Knits MCAL projects that I have knit in the past. I just wanted to share with you a couple of the other, he's got thousands of patterns, but some of the other West Knits that I have knit along the way. And I'm going to share them with you in the order of those that I wear the most often to those that I wear the least. Now, I'm not showing you all of them. I just thought I'd show you a handful of them. So to begin with, let me show you Vertices Unite. Now, Vertices Unite, I knit in July of 2021. And let me show it to you. It is by far the most worn West knit I have. In fact, it may be the most knit item that I wear. It is quite long in length. I'm going to bet near 100 inches, which is my favorite length. I knit it on a US size 4, but I did the I-cord bind off in a US 6. A little bit about the yarns I used. I used Direful yarn Slasher Sock, and I also used some of Emma's yarn Super Silky. If you wanted the exact colorways, they are on my Ravelry page. And on Ravelry, you can find me under Dawn Marie Knits. Now, again, I knit this back in July of 2021. I wasn't a big fan of this shawl before this time. I can't remember why many of us knit it together. For if you're interested in yardage, 1,363 yards. Each section is obviously a different color of yarn or a combination of yarns. Fearless Brianna knit a version of this shawl called Vertices Texture, which I'm really tempted to do. It's all in one color. I think I wear this because it matches a lot of the colors I wear. It's very easy for me just to throw around my neck. And of course that, what I would call like a shock of pink here in the front, just makes it really easy for me to throw on. So again, this is Vertices Unite, and by far my most worn West knit. Why do I think I need to do another? Oh, I don't have time right now, but I'll put that on my list of things to do in the future. Now, the next one that I wear quite often, I have to tell you, this morning getting ready for the podcast, I spilled tea, and some of the tea spilled on this, so I've not had time to remove it, the stain, but just so you know, it is just the way life is, right? You're going to get to see the Boneyard shawl stain and all. Now, I knit this in May of 2021. I hope those stains come out. I did this as a shop model for my local yarn store, Silver Thimble, when it was still in business. I think this is a great beginning shawl pattern. In fact, that's why I taught it. I used a US 7. The yarn is Hikoo by Skacel. Sueno Tweed, and I'm going to come in a little bit. Aren't those tweedy bits just fantastic? The whole line of Sueno Tweed, I believe, have the same tweedy bits. Okay, I'm going to hide that stain because that's kind of weird. Oh, Comforting Cream is the colorway. I use 3 skeins. This was one of Stephen West's first patterns. In fact, it may be his first. Don't quote me on that. When he first came out with this pattern, that seam up the middle was a make one right and a make one left. He revised this pattern a few years ago to make that center spine yarn overs. You can knit this shawl as long as you want. So if you're limited on yarn, you could just knit till you had enough left to do the border. You can make it smaller or larger. You can see it's just mostly stockinette with a few of those purl ridges. Gosh, again, this is one I tend to wear scrunched up like this. Then I just throw the tails. And so you'll catch a theme about how I wear most of my shawls. I really like this one. A nice neutral color goes with a lot of things. You know where it looks really nice is like if I have my jean jacket on. It looks nice under that as well. Oh, the Boneyard. Okay, put this one on your list. And the whole fury, if you will, that builds up. I'm saying if you will a lot today. All the excitement building up for the MCal, it makes me want to go back and knit some of the MCals before I started. So that may be one of my goals in the next year, is to go back and knit one MCal shawl. There's 4 that I really would like to do. But maybe if I could do one a year for the next 4 years, that would be fantastic. You guys, this yarn is incredible too. Sueno Tweed. Oh, I'm hoping they still make it. Now, the next one I did with my dear friend, Joanne. Joanne is the owner of Magpie Cottage in Sheboygan Falls. Her brick and mortar store has now closed, but she still has an online presence. Those of you local to my area, I live near Green Bay, Wisconsin. I probably should have said that as part of my introduction. I live here with my husband, Steve, and we are empty nesters. Can you believe that? We have a 23-year-old son who just got accepted into a supported apartment program. So he has his own apartment, but he gets help several times a day if he needs it. He is autistic, and this is a huge, huge, huge step for him. So it's been fun helping him negotiate the transition, and he's doing very well. So yeah, we're loving being empty nesters too. It's only been a couple weeks, so so far so good. All right, wait till you see this one. This is Quadrangle Spires. I'm going to show you. Let's see if I can back up a little bit. It starts off with this center block that you can see is in 4 segments. We have those big holes, and then you knit down one end until you were at the point in your yarn where you needed to save for the next, or till you were happy with the length. If I recall right, I had very little yarn left. Ouch, look at that. What is it about a long rectangle that I just love to knit, and I definitely love to wear? A little bit about the yarn. I knit this in December of 2021. It has 2,000 yards in it, and it's knit on a US 4. The yarns that I use, that darker gray here that you can see, is a Cascade Heritage sock in the forged iron colorway. And then you can see that the other yarn is a slow moving gradient. I bought that at Elgin Knitworks a few years ago. It is by Gypsy Girl Creations Transitions, and the colorway is Calypso. You guys, this was a brilliant design by my dear Stephen. Now, you can imagine how I wear it. I find center, kind of scrunch it up, put that in the front, and then now this drapes long. I have enough to go around twice if I want to. But again, I tend to grab this often. Oh, lovely. Look what that is. Oh my goodness. I don't know if that's a drop stitch or what. I'm going to have to figure that out. Oh, I love this. I love the colors. I love the pattern. I love that shape of a long rectangle. Again, it has to go well over 100 inches. If I had to guess, maybe 110. Oh, I love this. The yarn is squishy. I'm a big fan always of Cascade Heritage sock, either in this base or their silk base. I love this, and it's just becoming autumn. The mornings are cooler and the evenings are cooler, so this may come in handy pretty soon. All right, so that's number 3. The fourth one I want to show you today, I knit in February of 22. It is Dustland. It was one of the first in my memory of one colored shawls that Stephen came out with. I say Stephen like we're best friends. Oh, look at this on the camera. Oh, that is showing true to color. This is Plymouth Yarn Davila as the yarn, and it is in the red colorway. Now, this was an interesting journey. I started with multiple different yarns, but I couldn't find a yarn where I could see that texture difference. It's a repeating pattern. He has since come out, I think, with the Dustland hat and the Dustland sweater. But if you're looking for a one color, texture filled pattern, I would call this a gradient. Because I think yesterday or earlier this week, he came out with a new pattern that's a one color. Oh, and he did it 2 weeks before the MCal. Oh, what was he thinking? I'm sure he was thinking it'll be very popular. So again, I wear this the exact same way. And boy, against a white blouse, it looks nice too, doesn't it? Boy, this is a color I just love, love, love. So I would wear it very similar to this. So again, this is the Dustland shawl by Stephen West, Plymouth Yarn Davila. I don't know if they still make that base or not, but this was a lovely, lovely color. I did not keep track in my Ravelry notes of the other yarns that I tried before this one, so I apologize for that. But I think if you want to have a knitted shawl, hat, scarf, cowl that has a texture pattern that you want to see clearly the texture, for me, I have found that if I use a high twist yarn, that works better. A singles is kind of too poofy. Mohair would make it lose its texture. As much as I love mohair, I don't know if mohair and texture always go together, at least for me. Yeah, gosh, I love this shawl too. Now I'm going to do 2 more shawls in my attempt to keep this a fast one of West knits that I love to knit, but I do not wear very often. In fact, both of these shawls, I'm not sure I've worn at all. I'm not sure why. I have several other West knits that I haven't worn. So it's that whole thing. Are you a process knitter or a product knitter? I think for the most part, I'm a process knitter. I enjoy learning new techniques. I enjoy the yarn. It's a beautiful item when I'm done, but a lot of times it's not the item I'm after. It was the experience along the way of knitting it. Now, this is Winter Lights shawl. It was knit in March of 21. I look back at what I knit during the pandemic. Wow, did I have a lot of time. Oh, so a lot of these shawls I knit in just a several year time span. But this was his first hybrid knit along. So I probably started it in January and ended it in March. This was knit on a US, let me get this right so I don't go, a US 4. I bought this as a gradient yarn set from Amanda Hope's Yarn. It was called the Teal Gradient Set, and the colors are fun. They went from the tealiest to teal zeal to gossamer teal to Aegean. This is a super fine merino. I think she calls it Aussie extra fine fingering. And I wish, if you haven't seen her yarn, I would go to her website. There is something about the feel of this merino, and you can see it kind of has a sheen to it, but there is no silk in it. But her color saturation is beautiful. I love the honeycombs. I love doing this textured section there that kind of almost looks like the rays of sun. Gosh, these little texture, they're not bobbles, but it's a a fun little texture, but I love that border. There is something about feather and fan. I think some people call it the old shale pattern as well. But oh, now I don't know why I don't wear this. If I had to guess a couple of things, I would wear this as a shawl in the sense of a typical way you would wear a shawl, where this design would be down my back. But look how nicely it lays over my shoulders. My friend Judy, who I knit with in Appleton once in a while, knit this. I think she used the exact same color set. She was wearing it yesterday under a white sundress, and it looks spectacular on her. So I may have to get this out. I've been doing some more knitting in these teal colors, so I'm kind of expanding my horizons a little bit. Oh, it is pretty. I've got to get it out and wear it more often. Yeah, I must. But anyway, again, this is Winter Suns by Stephen West, part of his very first hybrid knit along. So, you know, the MCAL every year, the mystery knit along starts in October and runs for 4 weeks. And then usually the hybrid knit along starts after the first of the year. This is not a mystery, that when the pattern, when you start the knit along, the pattern, you get to see in its entirety and some of the color selections. And I love it when the indie dyers will put together kits that will help you decide. Always, he has kits for sale on Stephen and Penelope as well. Oh, wow. Now the last one I'm going to show you today, I knit in March of 21. And how are they kicking these out every couple of months? Wow, wait till you see this. It is spectacular as well. It is called Slipping Tiles. Is that not a beautiful texture? It's going to come down into a deep V. And I can't really see what you're seeing, so I'm just going to trust that you're going to start to see the lighter pink in the textured section at the bottom, the border. Wow, is that pretty? This too was knit on a US size 5, and I used Kylie bamboo sock. And Kylie is Joanne from Magpie's Cottage in Sheboygan, her yarn that she dyes. It was the first time I think I used her bamboo, and I did this as a shop model for her store. So she put the colors together. She asked me to do this pattern, and it is beautiful. I've never worn it. Can you believe that? I don't know why. Now, if I had to guess, it's hard for me to wear a deep triangle shawl in any way other than a traditional shawl. So again, if you would put this behind you and then wear it like this, it'd be too deep for me to wear it in front of me. It would go way down. Do you see where I just have a hard time? Maybe like that. I just have a hard time manipulating it. Oh, this texture is amazing. I need to look at these more often so that I can get them out and wear them. This was knit on a US size 5. And again, one of them that I've never worn. Gosh, I think this would look nice over a jean jacket too. You can tell the days are getting cooler because I'm thinking about my jean jacket a lot. So these are non-MCAL Stephen West patterns that I have knit in the past. It all has me thinking about his upcoming MCAL. So if you're going to join the MCAL this year, I would love it. You can share that in the notes below. And I don't know when we'll be back for another fast one, but we are hoping to get together to podcast for episode 100 in the near future. It's one of those episodes we want to celebrate. I don't know if we want to look back too far about what we've done in the past. I don't know if I could even go back and watch episode 1 again. That would be kind of scary. But anyway, I appreciate your time today. Feel free to share if you're joining in the West Knits MCAL, or if you've knit any other Stephen West patterns that you think I should take a look at. The new one that he came out with this week, the one color, gosh, I should have wrote down the name. I know it has the word daisies in it. I have got to put that pretty high on my list right now, because there is something about the textures in that shawl that I think would look stunning. And then of course I'd have to look through my stash to see what I have available. But I look forward to maybe thinking about, or at least dreaming about, casting that shawl on in the near future. Well, that's all I have for you today. It's been nice to spend a few fast minutes with you. And I sure hope that until we see you again, that your knitting has a sweet twist of both the frivolous and frugal. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.